What is up, guys, and welcome to another Play and Explain here on PLO Poker Coaching. We are playing some mid stakes today, 1-2 on Ignition. We have 4 tables running right now and just started, so we will be building up some stats and seeing what the tables are looking like. On Ignition, you only have session stats, so it takes you a minute to figure out which are the best tables and the worst tables. So we will see where we go. We have a pretty straightforward squeeze here on the top right. And not strong enough to defend on the bottom left. So relatively disconnected flop. Obviously, we block a jack here. This is kind of just a board that I want to pot and attempt to take down. We will obviously be calling a stack off with some backdoors as well. We'll often just take it down, but we'll get insta-jammed on by any flush draw. But with overs for 2-pair, backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draw, we obviously will not be folding. And we do take it down. Had that board been something like Jack 10-6 two-tone, we have to do a bit more checking there. Obviously, the cold call and then the call of the squeeze is going to connect much better with that sort of board. When it's that disconnected, even though it's two-tone, we can go ahead and pot even though we don't have a club in our hand. And just folding this one gap rundown here to a 3-bet from a very tight player. I mean, this is going to be usually quite a strong hand. This is very low stats, but with an EP open and a 3-bet from MP. Surprised we see a check on this sort of board. This should be a high frequency, likely range bet from the in position player. With it being so disconnected, he is in position though, so he does get to take some free cards when he has more marginal hands. So I guess it could make sense. Obviously, great card on the turn, and he's going to have a very large betting frequency after it goes check check. So expecting a large bet here on the turn. And we are going to raise against the limps over here, bottom right. Bottom right looks like it's shaping up to be a decent table, although this guy is pretty short stacked. And this is obviously one of the boards that we will have a leading range on. I don't mind betting small here. We won't get raised too much on this board, so we can potentially fold out some equity, like maybe some low flush draws. Obviously, like an ace or a 7 is like never folding, and these boards are just heavily under-raised in terms of bluffs, and I don't even think really that we're gonna see too many bluffs here with diamonds. So we will just bet fold actually in this spot. Most recreational players there are not going to raise with draws, so it just makes it very likely that he has a 7. And we are obviously not doing well against that hand. Here, given that we have quite a nut hand, I am actually just going to call and bring this guy along. We do flop top 2, but no backup. This is a hand that we should not be getting excited about. 5-way. I mean, we're not folding on the flop unless there's some very heavy action. But our hand is going to be very turn determined. And so we will see what our equity looks like on the turn. And when I say turn determined, I just mean based on the card that hits on the turn, our equity is either going to be extremely high or extremely low. And so pretty much any hand that we get it in against that is not one of the good ones brings in the backdoor flush draw and completes the straight. We obviously unblock spades, which is good, but it's tough if this guy bets, given that we are in the sandwich here and he bets quite large. And I think we just have to fold, to be honest. There's basically no river, apart from a 10 or a 9, that we're very pumped about. And even then we could be in trouble with 2 other people in the pot. So unfortunately, that is one of the hands that crushes our equity. Weak kings, 2 regs. I think we can just fold to an MP res. We get 2 callers behind. I'm actually going to raise to just try and ISO these guys in position. I don't really want to play this pot 5-way, but I do want to play in position against this guy, but we're getting this guy anyway. Here, I think a pretty high frequency check on this board. In the sandwich position 3-way. And with a bet and a call, I think we're just out. We don't really have, we have backdoor straight, I guess. But it's just gonna be very tough to realize your equity with this hand. That would have been a pretty decent turn. And we do get back raised here after limping. I really don't want to fold this hand. This guy's very likely to jam. Here I actually might check raise. I'm gonna fold and let it go. It's obviously not great if we're against a high pair. Here we have playability. We obviously have the blockers. We have a pair. We have the actual straight draw. So we don't mind it going check check when we check. And then when he bets, the question is, do we want to raise here? He is going to have a reasonably wide stabbing range. If we get 3-bet, it's not fantastic. We do have the pair of 9s, which could be very valuable if we turn the blockers. Actually gonna go for the raise here though. and make a pretty loose call, but this is a very marginal play. And we get called in position. This is a card that obviously we're going to have a lot of leads on. It doesn't change the board. We still have the polarity advantage. We do have a hard blocker. We can call it off. I think that we just want to pot here. And if we're against like mid set, we have okay equity, I guess. And I mean, we're obviously jamming. For value, and we didn't get snapped, so that's good. And we do miss top right. We do block the straight. I think that we're gonna go ahead and bet. Basically have no chance at showdown. We do take it down. It would be interesting to see what that guy was calling with, whether it was like a 2-pair set type hand. You know, he looks like he could be, based on stats, a reasonable player, so he might know that he's not raising or 3-betting all sets if he had like a mid set or something like that. He flopped pretty fantastically on the bottom left, and he leads out. Don't have many stats on this guy yet, but I think that we do want to raise and start building a pot. There are plenty of draws that we can have him in pretty bad shape with. Overpair, pair blocker, flush draw. We're not really gonna have many leads. Is this, I guess, small versus big? So not the best turn for our range. Obviously our small blind raising range is going to be very different to the big blind's calling range, and he will connect more with this card in terms of 2 pairs and straights. So I think we probably do want to do a decent amount of checking on this turn, and we can obviously check call with 2 pair and a flush draw. It's not ideal. We are likely behind, but we potentially have some equity, and we can bluff pairing runouts if we do not hit. And obviously still not a great hand. However, the fact that the ace of clubs hits on the river is somewhat good for us, because the hands that he's going to bet large on the turn with that aren't mid hands are usually going to include no flush draws. So I think we can probably like maybe block bet here and get called by a straight. The only thing is we likely may induce a raise here, and yeah. So I think that I might want to call this. Again, what hands does he bet large on the turn with that are like king high flush draws? Unless he obviously has the straight and clubs, but those combos are pretty limited. Yeah, I mean, people just don't bluff too much like this, but yeah. Yeah, he had the straight and clubs. It's the only hand that really makes sense. And even though the combos are limited against the population, probably should just be folding in spots like that. Generally, it is good to overfold to aggression. People are not bluffing enough, but I guess I am too curious sometimes. But as I said, that's really the only combo that kind of makes sense, so pretty unfortunate river. We do block clubs. We do have a top pair blocker. I kind of like betting here, to be honest. You get a lot of respect, or usually get a lot of respect for this bet. Clearly not here. And I mean, do we have showdown value ever? Every draw missed. So the question is, do we want to check hero call, hope it checks down, or lead out for a small size? I don't mind leading out for a small size. Obviously, we're not folding out like ace king, but we can stop ourselves getting bluffed off this hand. Yeah. Or run into king 7, which is another option. So looking at these tables right now, not fantastic. We'll probably try and switch a couple of them out. I mean, it's not huge hand samples, but this table is pretty bad. This table is pretty bad unless this guy is a recreational player. And this table, not too bad. We have this like whale over here that we're only 2 positions away from. But that is obviously one of the problems with, well, not problems, but one of the drawbacks with Ignition, that you cannot table select. Here with the gut shot, I mean, we should realistically have a decent amount of full equity on the flop, given that we are blocking those middling rundowns that would be connecting this board. We have the backdoor flush draw, we have some overs. And we can always just turn the nuts. This is obviously going to be a very bad card for my range. I am tempted to check back here. It's very unfortunate not having a diamond. So maybe we can like bet very small. And that is not a good river. And I don't think that we have any value here without a diamond. We 3-bet here. I mean, we're obviously gonna bet here. Let's just check, and we run into the nuts. We pick up an additional gut shot. Without spades, I mean, it's not a terrible double barrel. It's a pretty bad bet on the flop. And then obviously unblocking those types of hands. Thing is, we do have some outs, and if spades brick, we can then bet on the river, so I think maybe we'll take that option. That is not a great river. I'm not sure what's going on here. We're somehow timing out, and yeah. Not getting fantastic runouts so far today. Yeah, we just have to fold here. Without a spade in our hand, I mean... And top left, limp pot. Obviously unlikely others have a flush draw. We could just take a stab here. Could even potentially call a raise with the underpair. We flop middle pair. Middle pair and the second nut flush draw. So a very marginal hand. We have some playability on turns, and three-way, I think we just want to check this hand back. I mean, with the S being uncovered, as in people can have top pair and the nut flush draw, you know, we really have a good chance of getting check raised in this spot, so... Here, I mean, this is a very weird line. I guess I'm just gonna check blocking this many spades. And we do have some showdown value. We turn two pair and the second up flush draw. We're obviously not folding. No real need to raise here and make this guy's life easy out of position if he did just turn the nuts. Again, not a fantastic river. I don't really think that we want to turn our hand into a bluff here, to be honest. We block two pairs and sets that he might bet on the turn. Yeah, I don't see any need to raise there, even though he does go with a small sizing, which is unusual on that river. And then obviously raising the ace 10 on the top left. And against the short stack here, I mean, we could just pot and stack off, but I think that we actually want to play some hands, and so we're going to use a much smaller sizing, given that he is so short. He's going to have a lot of check raises in his range, like this one on the min check raise, which we're never folding to. And I think on this blank turn, to be honest, like the min raise, unless he has like a set and the flush draw, which we somewhat block, you don't really see it that often. Like the min raise is usually more of a drawing hand, pair and flush draw type hand. He could have two pair, which we're not doing great against, but I mean, Stick it in and see what happens. And we do hold. Can make an argument for just calling these aces here. These are some of the worst aces. Maybe if they're a Rambo. I'm gonna be wrapping this video up shortly, coming up to the 30-minute mark. Let me know what you guys think in terms of video length. I usually try and keep them around 30 minutes, but obviously I'm going to be continuing playing after this. So if you guys want longer videos and you can tolerate the sound of my voice for longer, let me know. Happy to bump those up a little bit more. But make sure you definitely subscribe and like. You know, the more subscribers that we can get, the more likes that we can get going on the channel, then we can start actually streaming once we have enough followers. And you know, we'll be able to answer questions live and do some more fun stuff. On the top right, top set in position. Basically we're going to be banging like 80% of our top sets here. We would need a reason not to, and you know, we unblock straight draws, we unblock lower pairs, we don't have the board crushed, so very unlikely that we would be wanting to check this hand back. This is a very good card for our range on the turn after we don't get raised. We have the polarity advantage, we have all of the aces, we have more of the ace 10. So we can actually use a big sizing here. And given how kind of dry the board was, maybe we could have sized it down. And we're just folding here bottom left. I think top left, I think given we have ace king here, I think we probably just want to soft check call. King queen, we might lean more towards a bet, just because we do need some more protection. This guy bets pot though, and I really do like to overfold when people bet pot on these types of boards. Like, I feel like we're just going to run into a 9 very often. And we do flop top 2 here, so I'm just going to stop banging these limp pots. And we get 3-bet with the ace 8-4. We do have to call, not looking great. And we will raise the queens. So we will finish up these 3 hands and be done with the video. Let's see if we get stacked or not here. Question is, do we want to check raise or do we want to just bet? He's gonna have some hands here that are gonna check back. I'm just gonna fold here top left and fold over here. So we do block aces, and just gonna fold the back queens over here. So he skews range slightly more towards combo draws. Not really. I mean, I guess we can just go with a check. This would be a board that we do have like a solid leading frequency, and he does bet out. And I think out of position at this point now, we just want to jam. We do have the backdoor flush draw. There will be Queen X with spade hands that he calls with. He's not folding a flush draw. If we run into queens, we run into queens. We don't get snap jammed on, which is nice. And we take it down. Alright guys, that is going to be it from me today. Make sure you check out PLOpokercoaching.com as well. We have some articles over there with some further insights and tips for you guys playing at the tables. But other than that, make sure you stay tuned for some more content coming out the next couple of days. And I will see you guys soon. Good luck at the tables out there.